Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3. Yamaraj instructs his messengers. Text number 30. Tat Shamyatam Sa Bhagavan Purusha Purano Narayana Swapurusher Yadasat Kritam Naha Swanamaho na vidusam rachitanjalinam Shantir Gariyasi Namah Purushaya Bhumne. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Then Yamaraj, considering himself and his servants to be offenders, spoke as follows, begging pardon from the Lord. O my Lord, my servants have surely committed a great offense by arresting a Vaishnava such as Ajamila. O Narayana, O Supreme and Oldest Person, please forgive us. Because of our ignorance, we failed to recognize Ajamila as a servant of your Lordship, and thus we have certainly committed a great offense. Therefore, with folded hands, we beg your pardon. My Lord, since you are supremely merciful and are always full of good qualities, please pardon us. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. Lord Yamaraj took upon himself the responsibility for the offense committed by his servants. If the servant of an establishment makes a mistake, the establishment takes responsibility for it. Although Yamaraj is above offenses, his servants, practically with his permission, went to arrest Ajamila, which was a great offense. Nyaya Shastra confirms, Bhrityaparadhe Swamino Dandaha. If a servant makes a mistake, the master is punishable because he is responsible for the offense. Taking this seriously, Yamaraj, along with his servants, prayed with folded hands to be excused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. So this verse, spoken by Yamaraj, is a verse that he is offering as a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Until this verse, he was having a conversation, or he was talking with his servants, the Yamadutas, telling the Yamadutas the position of Ajamila and the greatness of chanting the holy name, and how because Ajamila had chanted the holy name, he had become freed from all offenses. That is the power of one holy name. And because he had chanted the holy name and become freed from all offenses, not only of this life but all the previous lives, so we have no jurisdiction over him. We cannot bring him to Yamaloka because he is completely freed. Only people with sinful reactions go to Yamaloka. But Ajamila's all sinful reactions were nullified. Just like the example is given, if there's a huge fire can consume everything. It will burn out everything. Everything will burn to ashes. So that one holy name that Ajamila chanted in that helpless state, the result of that was that all his sinful reactions were completely burnt, and so we have no jurisdiction. And so going to Ajamila, he's telling his servants that because you have gone to Ajamila and you have tried to capture him and bring him to my abode, Yamalok, this is a great offense. So he was telling all these things to the Yamadutas, and now this verse is a prayer to Lord Vishnu. So what is he asking in this prayer? In this prayer, he is asking for forgiveness. Why forgiveness? And who's asking for forgiveness? So there are something very, very significant points in this particular verse. The first thing is, who's asking forgiveness? The greatest of the great personality, a Mahajana, a pure devotee, Yamaduta, is asking for forgiveness. Just look at it. Why he's asking for forgiveness? Because the offense is not a small offense. It is said here, it's a great offense. Why a great offense? Because the person who has been offended is a Vaishnava. How did Ajamila become a Vaishnava? He had a whole list. Why did Yamadutas go to arrest Ajamila? Because in the book of Yamaraj, they had seen all the list of sinful actions that he had performed. Deserted his wife, drove away his old parents, associated with the prostitute, engaged in gambling, cheating, everything. All laws he had transgressed. So with this list they had gone, so it was a great offense. But he became a Vaishnava because of just chanting one holy name. Just imagine the position of one name, the power of one name. That here it is said that they have surely committed a great offense. Not only it's a sure fact that it's a great offense because he has arrested a Vaishnava like Ajamila. So just one holy name can make you a Vaishnava? Yes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was preaching to the devotees of Bengal, so he was telling the devotees were asking, please tell us our duties. What should be our duty? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, your duty is to serve a Vaishnava. So the devotees asked him, if you have to serve a Vaishnava, can you please tell us how can we identify a Vaishnava? So Satyaraj bole, Vaishnava chinibo kemone. How will I identify a Vaishnava? Vaishnava chinibo kemone. Ke Vaishnav kaha tar samanya lakshana. Ki tar samanya lakshana. Who's a Vaishnava? Ke Vaishnava. And ki tar samanya lakshana. Samanya lakshana. Kitar Samanya Lakshana means what are the symptoms, common symptoms, not some great symptoms. What are the common symptoms by which I can identify a Vaishnava? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prabhu kahe, Yar mukhe shuni ek bar Krishna naam. Yar mukhe shuni ek bar, just once from whose mouth you have heard the name of Krishna, Krishna naam, Shei Pujya. Shreshta Sabakar. That person who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna once is worshipable. And Shreshta Sabakar. And he should be regarded as the topmost human being. And he is a Vaishnava. And Prabhupada writes to this purport that even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had said the same thing, that one who simply chants the holy name of Krishna just once actually becomes perfect and is regarded as a Vaishnava. So just see what is the power of one holy name. That is what is said, Eka Hari Name, Joto Pap Hore, Toto Pap, Papi Hoye, Toto Pap, Koribare Nare. So that is why the holy name of Krishna is so powerful and so potent. Because it is Krishna, it is non-different from Krishna. So it's like Krishna with you. It's like all the power of Krishna is with you. Purna, Shuddha, Nitya, Mukta, Abhinnatva, Namanam, Purna, it is complete. One holy name is complete. Shuddha, it is completely pure. Nitya, it is eternal. Mukta, it is liberating. So with this knowledge, that's why Prabhupada told us to read every day, because when we read every day, we will understand the exalted position of a devotee and the power of the holy name, and then we will chant with attention. That's the power of one holy name. So Yamaduta is saying, Yamaraj is saying, he is a Vaishnava, he is a great Vaishnava, and so we have committed a great offense. And so he's asking for forgiveness, he's asking for the Lord to beg pardon. So, if you see in this verse, how is he? So many times sometimes we commit some offenses and we ask for forgiveness, right? Now it's not only important to ask forgiveness for our offenses, but it's also important the mood that we maintain while asking for forgiveness. Yeah, Prabhu, I did a mistake. I'm sorry. That's one mood, one way to ask. Okay, Prabhu, so forgive me, Prabhu. But forgiveness is not just forgiveness is all about how you are asking for forgiveness. What mood are you asking for forgiveness? Are you really feeling repentant within your heart? Do you accept that it is your mistake? Saying please forgive me is one thing, but do you realize it's your mistake? Do you believe in it? And do you agree that you will not commit again? And are you asking of forgiveness in a humble mood? That is important. So that's why between devotees, when we have some things, or not between anybody, when we have some things and we wish to ask forgiveness, anyway you're asking for forgiveness, ask in a humble mood. Ask with humility. Accept. Then that is real forgiveness, and Krishna will forgive. So look at the mood he's asking in this whole verse. In the first line, in the third line, in the fourth line, 3 times he has used the word beg forgiveness, beg your pardon. The first line, the word is shamyatam. Shamyatam means please excuse me. Shama. Shamyatam, please excuse me. Then in the third line, Yamaraj is saying, Rachita Anjalinam. Rachita Anjalinam means he's folding his hands together. Please forgive me. This is the mood he's asking forgiveness. Again, after asking Shamyatam, again he's saying Rachita Anjalinam. And then again in the last line he's saying Shantihi. Shantihi is the Sanskrit word of forgiveness is Shantihi. So 3 times he has asked, with folded hands he has asked. And Prabhupada very nicely captures this in the translation also. In the translation also 3 times Prabhupada is mentioning this word. I will read the translation again. O my Lord, my servants have surely committed a great offense by arresting a Vaishnava such as Ajamila. O Narayana, O supreme and oldest person, please forgive me. Because of our ignorance, we fail to recognize Ajamila as a servant of your Lordship, and thus we have certainly committed a great offense. Therefore, with folded hands we beg your pardon. Second time. My Lord, since you are the supremely merciful and are always full of good qualities, please pardon us. We offer a respectful obeisance. You see, 3 times. 1 time, okay, please pardon. Please is used, but no, 3 times. And see, we have surely committed a great offense. We have certainly committed a great offense. Beginning, surely committed a great offense. In the middle, certainly committed a great offense. So, this shows how serious committing an offense towards a Vaishnava is. We have heard this many times. It's like considered to be like the mad elephant offense. If you are having a nice garden with very nice fruit trees and very nice trees, and you leave a mad elephant in it, the whole garden will be finished in just a few minutes, in few moments. So in spiritual life, we have to be so careful about committing offense. An offense with devotees. And here we see Ajamila is a great devotee who committed all sinful acts, chanted one holy name of Narayana, and he became such a great Vaishnava that even Yamaraj is asking for forgiveness. So you see, we are all devotees chanting 16 rounds. And also with others also we make them chant. So practically with every person whom we interact, they would have definitely chanted the Krishna mantra. So our behavior, our actions are so important, because this is what is going to protect our Bhakti Lata. We should always be conscious. I have sown a seed of Bhakti Lata. Bija, the Bhakti Lata Bija I have sown in my heart. And now I am watering that Bhakti Lata Bija by the process of chanting and hearing and engaging in devotional activities. I should be so careful to guard this Bhakti Lata Bija so that the plant grows, the creeper grows, it grows and crosses this material universe and goes to the spiritual world and takes shelter in at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Just like you see a gardener, when he has planted some seed in the garden, he is so careful about the weeds, he is so careful from external attack. His whole focus is to protect that Bhakti Lata. So similarly, our interactions with devotees are so important. In our interactions, we should not offend. Here Yamaraj is asking for offenses. So Yamaraj is, here it is said in this verse, so some more important points, Bhritya paradhe swamino dandaha. Although the Bhritya aparadhe, Bhritya means the servants, aparadh is of the servants, but the danda is not for the servants, the danda, the reactions or the offense is of the master. Swamino dandaha. So we have to own responsibility for the mistakes and ask for forgiveness. This is the important point that is coming out. If a servant makes a mistake, the master is punishable. Why the master is punishable if the servant makes a mistake? Because the servant is serving the master. So the master has to take responsibility. So we should know in what position, how we are acting, that's why Prabhupada also said sometimes that, the sinful, if a disciple is not acting properly, if he is still committing offenses, then the spiritual master will have to suffer the reaction. Same thing, Bhritya aparade swamino dandaha. Why Prabhupada? Because we are all his servants. So Prabhupada has taken the responsibility for us to take us back to Godhead. That's why unless and until a person is a pure devotee, he cannot accept even a single disciple. Because all reactions will come and he'll not be powerful enough and he will fall down. So here, the offense towards a great devotee, towards a devotee who has just chanted the holy name is being mentioned here. It's not a small offense, but it's a great offense. So Prabhupada writes that an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava is more dangerous than an offense at the feet of the Lord. An offense at the feet of a Vaishnava is more dangerous than an offense at the feet of the Lord. So this line should make us think. Many times, in our interactions, we just commit some offense and we don't think so much about it, talking loudly, shouting, or not behaving properly. We should just once think, how will I behave with the Supreme Personality of Godhead? I can't even dream of committing an offense, right? I'll be so careful in what I'll be speaking because Lord is with me. And so this line says an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava is more dangerous than an offense at the feet of the Lord. Like in that song of Narottam Das Thakur, Vaishnava Vignapti, prayer to the spiritual master, Hari sthane aparadhe tare Hari Nam. If you have committed an offense at the feet of Lord Hari, Hari sthane aparadhe tare Hari Nam. Hari Nam can deliver you. If you commit an offense at the feet of Krishna, but tomasthane aparadhe nahi paritran. If you commit an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava, there is no solution. Even Hari will not forgive you. So this is something that we have to be extremely, extremely cautious about. So, an important point that comes out from this verse is Yamaraj, a Mahajan, a pure devotee, is asking for forgiveness Actually, Yamaraj needn't have asked for forgiveness because his position is very exalted and the offense was also committed by his servants. But even he is asking for forgiveness. So Prabhupada in one lecture writes, just see how humble and meek Yamaraj is. Although he is so exalted, but even he is so humble and meek. And this is the symptom of an advanced devotee. The more a devotee is advanced, the more humble and meek he becomes. Just like that example is given, when the tree is laden with fruits, it bends. So the symptom of advancement is how humble and meek we are becoming. So we can ask for ourselves, we can test in ourselves, how much am I advancing? Sometimes we ask. There are so many ways by which we can judge how much we are advancing, how much humble and meek we have become. That much you are advancing, that much you are advanced. So Prabhupada, so I have a few verses, some sentences. Let us see how humble and meek Srila Prabhupada was, which is reflected in his writings. And of course in the way Srila Prabhupada, conducted himself when he was present, right from the beginning, but we know of it from 1965 to 77. But he was humble and meek, he was a pure devotee right from day one. So, and we have seen this in everywhere. If you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, such an exalted devotee, at the age of 90 he is writing Chaitanya Charitamrita. He is a pure devotee. And even in Chaitanya, he is so humble and weak. In Chaitanya Charitamrita he is writing, Purushira Keet hoite moise lagishta, Jagai Madai hoite moise papishta. I am more fallen than the worm in the stool, and I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai. He is most exalted. He is nowhere like this. But he is saying, and he is actually not just saying, he is actually feeling. He is genuinely feeling like that. Not that just to prove his humility or to give us some philosophy of humility, he is saying like that. He is genuinely feeling. So imagine, this is so interesting. He is not at all fallen. He is the most exalted person, but even he is thinking like that. That's why Prabhupada says, the symptom of advanced soul. Yamaraj is asking for forgiveness. We sometimes to say sorry, we'll think 10 times. No, should I tell him sorry? Here, Yamaraj is 3 times telling sorry. But this is the symptom. So always the goal should be, what am I here for? What am I existing? I have sown this Bhaktilata Bija and I want to ensure that this plant is growing properly because my goal is actually love of Godhead. And all these things, pride and all these things are big deterrents. So I should always be humble and meek. So Prabhupada, he writes, when he is going on the ship to America, in those 2 songs that he wrote, he writes in the first song, My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul. And I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me. But I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place? I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible because you are the most expert mystic. How will they understand the mellows of devotional service? O Lord, I am simply praying for your mercy so that I will be able to convince them about your message. See, Prabhupada, a pure devotee in the parampara, is saying, you are so kind upon this useless soul. He's saying, I am simply praying for your mercy so that I'll be able to convince them. He's not saying I will be able to convince them. Only if your mercy is there, I'll be able to convince them. In such a humble way, Prabhupada is writing. In another one, he's writing in another poem, although my Guru Maharaj ordered me to accomplish this mission of preaching to the West, I am not worthy or fit to do it. Further he writes, I am very fallen and insignificant. So when Prabhupada is also writing like this, he's also feeling. So see, that's why Prabhupada says, the symptom of a devotee is the more advanced you are, the more advanced you are in humility also. Spiritual advancement is equal to how much humble and pridelessness and how much meekness we have in our heart. The kingdom of God belongs to the humble and the meek. Now I am begging for your mercy, Prabhupada is writing, so that I may become worthy. So these were in the two poems he writes, and everywhere, if you see, in another place, I am grateful to you for all that you have said for me. This he's writing to one person who is praising Prabhupada in his letter, one Mr. Nakano. He's writing some praises for Srila Prabhupada. He writes a letter. So Prabhupada is writing back a letter to this person. I am grateful to you for all that you have said for me. I am just a humble person, humble creature, he says, even more humble. And I'm just trying to do my bit in this connection because I was ordered by my spiritual master. So he doesn't accept, thank you. He's thanking him, but he's not saying that, yes, he's like that. He's saying, I'm a humble creature. And I'm just trying to do what has been ordered by my spiritual master. In another place, look at how Srila Prabhupada is requesting us to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. I don't say that I have got a secret mantra which I shall give you and you pay me $50 or like that. It's an open secret. You simply have to accept it kindly. Then you see the result. There is no loss on your part, but the gain is very great. So why don't you try it? I request you, most humbly I request you that you kindly chant these 16 names of the holy name. Look at the way he's saying, I request you, most humbly I request you that you kindly chant these 16 names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is the way Prabhupada was. He is very meek and very humble. I thank you all, another one. These are all in lectures, letters and all this. I thank you all very much for accepting me as your spiritual master, and I promise that I will take you back to Godhead. I ask all of you to promise me to always chant at least 16 rounds, following the regulative principles, read our books and trying to preach this Krishna consciousness. Read our books and try to preach this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. And now he says, so far as my qualifications are concerned, I am simply trying to carry out the order of my Guru Maharaj. He says, what is my qualification? I am trying to carry out the order of my Guru Maharaj. Very humble approach. But the spiritual master does not think of himself as Hari. Although he is offered the respect as Hari, because he is his representative, he thinks himself as the humble servant of Hari and all others. I was saying the spiritual master is thinking himself as the humble servant of Hari and everyone else also. A spiritual master, now this is something very sick. A spiritual master takes his disciple as his spiritual master. You see how humble he is. His Prabhupada saying he takes his disciple as his spiritual master. That is the position. He thinks Krishna has sent me so many spiritual masters. Something very revealing, even I was not aware of this. He does not think himself as a spiritual master. He thinks himself as the servant. Because they have to be trained. Krishna has appointed him to train him. Therefore, he thinks himself as a servant of the disciples. So this is the position. So when one is advanced, he can see the importance of the devotees. So like this, there are many. So Now we should not think that, okay, Prabhupada, he's a pure devotee, he exhibited this humility and meekness, and a pure devotee can exhibit. Krishnadas Kaviraj was a pure devotee, and no, it is not like that. Humility, you may say that we may not be able to chant purely, because right now we still have these offenses in us. But becoming humble and meek does not require anything. It just requires a little bit of understanding of our philosophy. And immediately it can be done. It's not difficult. There was once some devotees along with Prabhupada, they go to meet a person. His name was Bhagubhai Jariwala. I will just read this. So we were guests, about 20 to 25 of us, a devotee saying, and they went to the home of a retired banker. His name was Bhagubhai Jariwala, and he took care of all the devotees in the most wonderful day. Every day, the devotees narrating, we would be served wonderful prasadam by Mr. Jariwala and his extended members. None of them ever took any prasadam until all of us had been fully satisfied. Many of us were suffering from dysentery, from ingesting contaminated food and water. We were all so sick. We were not even able to take care of our own personal cleanliness very well. It was so difficult for, it was quite, all the devotees were, in this state of, sickness and all these things. But not only Mr. Jariwala and his family took lot of care for us, they served us with very good prasadam, with unlimited prasadam, and they also cleaned up after us and did all our washing also, which was often very gross. So there were a few young and passionate brahmacharis present who for some reason had not yet developed proper Vaishnava etiquette. Never once did the Jariwala family take offense. So they were working very hard, serving the devotees with their heart and soul. It is said that they were serving all the devotees with a smile on their face and Krishna in their heart. Very devotedly they were serving, and devotees were young, passionate. They were not even washing the plates. There were 25 of them, and they were going on serving them prasadam. They didn't take prasadam. It was quite, intense for them. So on the last day, they stayed for a few days. Mr. Jariwala asked, when they were about to depart, if we could all gather in Srila Prabhupada's room. And this devotee saying, I still remember it clearly, and the powerful effect it had on them. So all of them assembled, and this is what Mr. Jariwala and his family members also said. Jariwala was speaking. He said, my family and I are honored and blessed to have the chance to serve all of you devotees, especially your divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. And then he said, please forgive us for the many offenses we have committed against you. And at that point of time, their tears came in his eyes. He started crying, and he bowed down and he paid his respectful obeisances to all the devotees who were present. And then Prabhupada said, and Prabhupada looked in the eyes of all the 20 devotees, and he said this is a real Vaishnava. He sees no fault, even though there may be many. He sees no fault, even though there may be many. And then Prabhupada said, you should all take his pure example and follow it. This is how we should be humble and meek. So you see, Jariwala was he may not be he was a member, he was a banker, he was doing his outside work. And look at the way how he demonstrated his humility and meekness. So this is how we should be. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirdaniya sadaharihi. If you want to chant nicely, this is the mood, in this humble and meek mood. Amanina manadena. So I will end with this one. In the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes very nicely how we have to be humble and meek, or unless and until this amanina manadena comes, we will not be able to chant our rounds properly. Chanting properly means having that humility, meekness inside us. Then we will be able to chant. Then we will be able to hear. We may be able to chant, but we will not be able to hear. So Prabhupada writes very nicely, I call this as the 5 R's that you have to remember. The 5 R's are, the first is, what is the goal in life? We have to remember Krishna at the time of death. Remembering Krishna always. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. He goes back to Godhead. Krishna tells Arjuna also, Mam anusmara yuddhacha mat smarati satatam chintayanto mam. So in the whole of Bhagavad Gita, if you analyze, Krishna is stressing on remembering him. And a person is successful if he leaves his body remembering him. Now, how do we train ourselves to remember Krishna always? That training is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Right? If you chant the Hare Krishna mantra 16 rounds, this chanting will help you to remember Krishna always. So Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavad Gita, if we have to remember Krishna always, then, that's the first R, remember Krishna always, then we have to chant the holy names, giving all respect to others. This is the second R. Giving all respect to others. And without giving all respect to others, without requiring respect in return. So beautifully he has put it. To remember Krishna always means to give all respect to others without requiring respect in return. Amanina. No, I can be treated in any way. I am not expecting for respect. Then you will be able to chant the holy name. So this is the humility, this is the meekness. We get so quickly affected if somebody says something. No, I do not require any respect in return, but I will offer all respect to others. And actually this line, it comes in Srila Prabhupada's 1972 edition. The unedited books, this line is there. Somehow in the new book, this line is missing. This word is missing. Without requiring respect in return. If you read the original Macmillan 1972, you will get this. So you see, a devotee should constantly be thinking like this, meditating like this. If I have to chant Hare Krishna, this is the mood in which I should be chanting. This is what Prabhupada said. Trinadapi sunichena taroriva saishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So this is the verse. It's very, nice to see. I mean, it's such a big lesson that Yamaraj is teaching us in this verse. He is a pure devotee, Mahajana, but even he is asking for forgiveness. 3 times he asked for forgiveness. This shows his humility and meekness. So all of us must remember this. We must remember this always. And this is the mood in which devotional service should be practiced. Then we will be successful in achieving the goal of life. Remembering Krishna always and then going back to Godhead. So we'll end here. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.